What's up everybody, Tim Conley here, and I want to share another coming up story where I used a copywriting technique, a concept that I learned to get customers, and I realized early in my career I could use that same technique to be able to grow my business. Not just my business, but my clients' businesses too. So I want to share that with you right now. Right after my .com business failed, I realized I needed to learn how to get a customer. So I focused heavily on learning how to sell. So I got training on how to sell in person, I got training on how to sell over the phone, and I got training on how to sell in print, direct response marketing, and copywriting. I learned how to take all the things I was learning in the real world, talking to people face to face and getting them to want to buy the product I was selling, all the way to I could write it down and lots of people could see it and they would buy. And I was like, that is freaking amazing. That is the skill I needed to be able to succeed in my .com. I really wish I had known that that existed. So one of the techniques that I was learning with copywriting was AIDA. And AIDA was this framework that gets you to make sure you pay attention to the things that really matter. Getting someone's attention, then keeping their interest, then developing desire in them, and then getting them to take action. Using that framework, you look at your copy. Did I get their attention? That's almost always a headline. Headline, subhead, maybe the first paragraph. If we go beyond copywriting, we look at advertising and understand that layout, if we're doing print, and that was my early work, print design, I did space ads in trade journals and stuff like that, and on your website, the layout of your website, the visuals on your website, from the graphics, the colors, the videos, anything that you're putting in front of your target market and trying to get them to actually take notice. That's the part of doing attention. With interest, we got their attention, but we're all ADD. We have very short attention spans, so we've got to do something to keep their interest. We've got to have a hook. We've got to have something that says, this is for you. Please keep paying attention to me so that I can then sell you something. But then we would move into desire. We've got to get somebody who's like, oh yeah, this is interesting. I'm paying attention to you. Now make me want it. This is something that most people falter with. They don't know how to get people to want a thing. They can get their attention. They can show that this is for them and get their interest and keep them paying attention to it. But then they don't build up a desire like, hey, you're in this particular state today. You could be in this better state tomorrow. And learning how to develop desire in people. And that's what the best marketing does. That's why we wear name brand stuff. That's why we buy name brand products, is because somebody in an ad agency somewhere made us desire those products. And then we took action on it. Here's something that I was struggling with in the beginning of my copywriting training was I was being told that the action part of the framework was a call to action. And then there's like ways of writing calls to action and developing calls to action. But then I realized that it wasn't about a call to action, but the motivation to act. Instead of saying, hey, would you like this thing? Or, hey, click that button, it's actually to motivate them. Everything at the call to action is more than asking for something or telling them to take an action, but actually motivating them to do so. Because buying is harder than not buying. Having to put in a credit card, having to fill out your shipping address, having to do any type of activity is really difficult. So you have to develop the skill to motivate people to take the next step. Now let's get into how to use AIDA to build a business. The thing I realized was that copywriting is one of the purest forms of business building. With copywriting, you have to encapsulate the entire selling process through your words, the getting attention, building up their interest, getting them to desire your product or service, and then motivating them to act. That is an incredible form of business. It's a simple form of business. Gary Halbert, the great copywriter, said, "You're one sales letter away from solving any problem." You can get as much money as you want. You can sell as many products as you want. You can sell as many services as you want. You can actually make as much money as you desire, even for things like charities. You are one sales letter away from being able to solve pretty much any financial problem, and maybe even problems that are not even financial, if you learn how to convey an idea and get people to act upon it through your words. 20 years ago, attention was a lot easier to get. There wasn't all the things that we have available today that is keeping everybody glued to their phone, glued to like 3 or 4 screens at the exact same time. I didn't have that stuff. All I had to do was write a sales letter, make a website, and get some traffic to it, and it was easy to make conversions back then. But today, out of every segment of AIDA, attention is the most important one. Getting people's attention is really hard. So you need to put about 90% of your effort. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not by much, maybe 87%. You need to put that much effort into getting attention. What do you do that gets attention? I do videos, and I'm learning all the time how to make these videos more engaging. I actually look at the stats of my videos to see where people start dropping off and try to figure out, well, what can I do to like get their attention, like keep them engaged to the next step. Just like in copywriting, writing it in such a way that after you finish one sentence, people wish to read the next sentence. I'm learning how to do that with video, but I don't want to just stop there trying to create videos that keep attention. I've got to actually make videos that get people who don't know who I am to pay attention. So I work on my thumbnails, I work on my titles, I work on the descriptions of my videos so they show up in YouTube search. I focus on all these different activities to get people to discover me, to get their attention, to build awareness. And when they see that and they go, yeah, that looks really interesting, I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to check it out. And then my audience continues to grow because they go, oh yeah, this is actually good. This is interesting. It fits my needs. Oh, I'm a digital marketing agency. I'm a creative agency. I do web design. And they go, yeah, this is interesting to me. The topic is interesting to me. Maybe not Tim Conley is interesting to me, but at least the topic is interesting to them. And then it's my job, once they engage with my videos, to develop a desire. Like, yes, this is the thing that I need, and desire wanting to continue watching the video, but also to desire watching the next video. So I use AIDA throughout my business. The thing that you're watching right now and I'm talking about, I'm doing it at the larger level. The fact that I'm making videos that go on to YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, these are my efforts at going out to the world who does not know who I am and trying to get their attention. But then when they get into that video, I've got to do AIDA all over again. I've got to make sure I get their attention in the video, build their interest, their desire, and then get them to take an action, which in this particular case is like and follow and share and do all the socials, right? These are the things that I'm doing. And I want you to look at your business. Where are you going out and grabbing attention? We'll talk about AIDA in other parts of your business later, but the one thing I really want to focus on, leave you with right here, is get attention. Do things that are outside your comfort zone. If your competition is doing one thing, don't copy it. This is something that I see all the time, and one of the things that I have a difficult time sharing certain things with you guys is that I know 99% of you will just simply copy. If I gave you an email to use, you would just copy it and use it. You wouldn't even alter it for your situation. Many people just copy and then they go, why isn't this working for me? It works for Frank Kern. It works for Gary Vee. It works for this other person. It works for that person. Why isn't it working for me? It's because you're copying. Copying is doing something that somebody's already done. Your market has already seen it. So it's not attention grabbing. You have to do something unique. Since you're watching this channel, you're probably a marketer. Or if you're not a marketer, you better damn well be one. And you need to go out and do marketing, get creative. If you have to, put on a wedding dress. I don't know what it's going to take to get your market's attention, but I can tell you one thing, copying the rest of the world is not going to get it for you. You always have to come out with something innovative, something unique, something novel to keep people paying attention to you, to keep building awareness of you. That is your number one job in an oversaturated world. All right, that's all I'm going to give you right now when it comes to AIDA. So what I want you to do right now is like, subscribe, share, and do all the socials. And then watch these videos that I've got coming up. I've got one right here, and I've got another one right here. These videos are going to help you grow your business. And I will talk to you in the next video. All right, done.